Hi guys, it's just going to be another quick little video here. Anyhow, I just want to address something about this Andreas Pirelli guy basically declaring or proclaiming that that Rebecca Caverhill's house was sovereign embassy territory and stuff like that. Basically, what I'd like to address, folks, is like it's like this. Basically, what I think is going on is they have these government shills out there doing this stuff, and effectively, what it comes down to is the government does this to you all the time, okay? Even if you paid your taxes, they'll take you to court and go, oh, well, he owed us $2. Next thing you know, they'll seize your bank account. Canada revenues all over you like white on rice. And effectively, Canada's been stealing land and houses, and all these employees of Canada have been stealing houses and all that for the state slash the democracy. And like I've said in prior videos, just add an end to democracy to demo and you have demon, and usually when you demo something is to destroy something, right? So I mean, it's just an end short of being demon, demonic, I guess, but anyhow. So effectively what I think is going on, guys, is like this, okay? I think these guys are shills. I think Andreas Pirelli's a shill. I think Dean Clifford's a shill. I think robbing men hurt is a shill. I mean, personally, I think these guys are all set up and they're let out to run around about their devices so that it can suck more people into this like anti-taxation movement, so the government can turn around and go, you're a detaxer. Well, if that was an improperly filed tax, well, you were supposed to get 30,000 back, now you owe us 60. So you can kind of see where this is going. But again, people, bottom line is I just think these guys are shills. I mean, ask them what they've ever proved. Ask them. Say, hey, Dean, show me one court case win. That's all. And everybody, they just love this rebel-rousing shit. Myself, I don't have time to be adversarial. I mean, even the police force and that, I would actually myself like to work with these guys on a loving basis, because no matter what, we all live together. So it's better to make friends than an us versus them scenario. So, even that Pirelli guy, I mean, the guy comes out of nowhere, takes over this house. When I spoke with Miss Rebecca Caverhill, basically what she told me was at one point the government didn't even want to do anything for her. So I'm thinking, here's a typical situation of the government. The only reason why the government did do something is, of course, because it got broadcasted through the news to the point where that if they didn't do that, well, they would look bad. But basically, effectively, guys, this is what the government does to you on a regular basis. I mean, why do you think the Queen's Highways are called the Queen's Highways? Because they've taken that land. They've stolen that land, and they've placed a claim, just like what I've showed you guys with those apostille documents and stuff, and authenticated documents, right? So that's effectively what the government's been doing to you all along. And then, even that Meads versus Meads, like the judge says, oh, well, if you don't want to be a Canadian, all you have to do is leave Canada's jurisdiction. But what he's not saying is, you better make sure you've got everything authenticated and notarized. And, let's address that. There's even a part where the judge says, oh, well, all these people thinking these notary publics are, the answer to everything in that. He says, well, they're not. Well, if that's the case, the judge is caught in a lie there, and I'll prove that it's caught in a lie, because what does the court deal with? They deal with certificates. And if their claim ain't certificated, it's just an unanswered / still open claim. So that's why when you rock up and you say, listen, I've got authoritative certificates, right? Not just regular notarized certificates, which are only good for the province and across Canada. Now I've crossed the private side of the bar too with this authentication, which is the authority. And look at authentication and authority. The first two letters in the word are AU. And what's the symbol for gold? It's AU. And the reason why they tax you is because you're the gold. You take the L out and effectively you're a god. You're part of the god force. So I just want you people to realize this. Stop listening to shills. I mean, it's no disrespect to Dean and Robert Menard and stuff like that. All I'm doing is I'm just addressing the truth. The truth of the simple, people. It requires few words. So all these people running around beaking off and stuff like that is just mindless bullshit. I mean, why run around being adversarial, adding verse, right? Like, there's no point. I'd rather just go up to somebody and say, listen, what's the problem? You're paid. I love you. What's the problem? Oh, well, the problem is, no, sorry, you're paid. No, you're paid, right? So It's just that simple. So, if you guys think that these certificates and stuff aren't the shit, I mean, hey, run around. You'll still be registered in Canada's system. And just like that video with Dean Clifford, he said to the RCs, he said, why are you arresting me? And you know what they said to him? They said, oh, because you're in our system. So if you want out of the system, unlike what that judge says in Meads versus Meads, you better damn well get your documents in place, right? And send out your proper notices. Otherwise, if they're not notarized and authenticated, they just fall on deaf ears. Because why? The government can only deal in certificates. Birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, statement of life birth certificates. That's all they can deal in, folks. So you have to understand this. So please, stop listening to these shills who supposedly have all the answers and, oh, well, I can get you $30,000 back on your taxes. And meanwhile, Canada Revenue will just say, oh, well, you're not playing by our rules. Even whether they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter because they have guns and tanks. You don't. Not that I want to deal with guns and tanks, but it's just that simple. So, for all these so-called freemen going around being called a bunch of bad guys and that, well, I'm sorry, but I don't see them dressed up in the ocean colors of blue with guns and batons and tasers. I've never seen freemen. I mean, I've never seen freemen or any regular Joe for that matter tasing people and pulling out batons and that. I leave that to the police department. And once again, this is why we have to get away from this, oh, it's us versus them scenario. No, we have to learn how to communicate and get along with everybody, whether we agree or not. It's not about the greed. It's about being humble and letting your ego, your earth guide, only go, right? So anyhow, I'm going to leave this at that. I just wanted to point that out. You get some odd cracker ball who was probably sent into this house to make a whole movement look bad, when in all actuality he's probably a government shill. I mean, why would the government have let this guy go on this long as it was? That's what Rebecca told me. She said nobody wanted to help, and then this Andreas guy running under whatever moniker he is this week. I mean, then he's saying, oh, I'll sue you if you use my name because it's authenticated. And that's why I called her and said, listen, he can't sue me. I'll take it up. Well, we'll take the matter up with him and we'll extract the guy peacefully. I mean, if the government doesn't want to do their job, hey, I am a full-out national / foreigner on the land and I'm allowed to make citizens arrests. So it's just that simple. And I'm sure the guy's a citizen because I don't think too many of these guys do their paperwork properly because my friends, sorry guys, but they just don't get bothered. So anyhow, do stay away from these shills. I mean, take the good tidbits of information, extract that out of something, but the bottom line is due diligence and stop looking for people and answers outside of yourself when you are the answer. It's just that simple. And that's what everybody's doing. They're running around, can you help me? Can you help me? Instead of accepting personal responsibility for their actions. So it's just that simple, people. So anyhow, till then, keep your heads up. Much love and respect always. Cheers. Peace. Bye.